A colorful world. Julia woke up with a start, the sound of her alarm clock piercing through the quiet of her small apartment. She rubbed her eyes and glanced at the clock. 7 a.m. Time to start another busy day at the salon. She turned to her best friend, Sandra, who was still curled up in bed, fast asleep. "Sandra, wake up. It's time for work," Julia called out, shaking her friend gently. Sandra groaned and pulled the covers over her head. 5 more minutes, she mumbled. Julia laughed. "Come on, we're going to be late. We have that new client coming in at 9 for that crazy purple hair." That was enough to get Sandra out of bed. The two friends had been working together at the salon for years, and they had big dreams of one day opening their own place. They had been saving every penny they could, but it seemed like they were always one paycheck away from their goal. As they rode the bus to work, Julia and Sandra chatted about their plans for the weekend. They were thinking about going to a new art exhibit downtown. "I can't wait to see the new exhibit," Sandra said. "I've heard the colors are amazing." "I know, right?" Julia replied. "It will be the perfect inspiration for our next color palette." When they arrived at the salon, they were greeted by a steady stream of clients. Julia had a full day ahead of her, with appointments for everything from simple trims to full color changes. Her first client of the day was a young woman named Emily, who wanted to dye her hair a bright shade of purple. "I'm so nervous," Emily admitted as she sat in Julia's chair. "I've never done anything this crazy before." Julia smiled reassuringly. "Don't worry, you're going to love it. Purple is a great color on you." As she mixed the dye, Julia couldn't help but feel a sense of satisfaction. She loved her job, and she was grateful for the opportunity to help people feel good about themselves. Throughout the day, Julia met all sorts of people. There was the elderly woman who wanted to cover her gray hair, the teenager who wanted to dye her hair pink, and the businessman who wanted a more sophisticated look. By the end of the day, Julia and Sandra were exhausted but happy. They had made a lot of people happy, and they had saved a little bit more money towards their dream of opening their own salon. As they walked home, they couldn't help but feel hopeful about the future. "I can't believe we're so close to making our dream a reality," Sandra said. "Me neither," Julia replied. "We've worked so hard for this." As they walked through their neighborhood, they passed a storefront that was for lease. Julia and Sandra stopped to look at it. It was the perfect location for their salon. "What do you think?" Julia asked Sandra. Sandra's eyes lit up. "It's perfect. Let's do it." And so, with a little bit of hard work, a lot of determination, and a whole lot of hope, Julia and Sandra set out to make their dream a reality.